Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Fisher Family Adventures. If you've never seen any of my videos before, I live down here in Southwest Florida on the Gulf of Mexico. I do a lot of offshore fishing, boat fishing, kayak fishing, land-based fishing, beach fishing, I mean, you name it. I love to fish. So if you guys like videos like that, please like, share, and subscribe. So today we are in my tackle shop again, and we're gonna go over my 3 favorite rigs for snapper fishing. And snapper are a deliciously tasty fish, a little smaller than grouper, but absolutely a blast to fish for if you know what to do. So they live pretty much almost all over the water column, right? They live on the bottom, like some of your vermilions and your lane snappers. You can catch them on the bottom if you're grouper fishing or just standard bottom fishing. You can catch them up in the water column if you fish with a jig or let your bait down slowly. Like sometimes you'll see red snapper if you can chum them up. Like in one of my videos we did before, almost 50 feet off the bottom of the ocean. So, and finally, you can catch yellowtails on the surface, right? Like I know down in Key West, they put out pounds and pounds of chum to chum up these yellowtails to the surface, and then they just catch them without even a reel. They just put a pole with leader and a hook, and they catch yellowtails on the surface. So they're pretty much everywhere in the water column if you know how to fish for them. So today, we're gonna go over my favorite rigs on how to catch these snapper. All right, so let's start off with my first rig that I like fishing for snapper, and this is called a fish finder rig. Now, first, you're gonna want to feed your braided line through your egg sinker. Then you're gonna want to tie your swivel on, and when you're tying knots, use whatever knot you tie best. I mean, if you can tie a bimini twist perfect every time, spend the time doing it. But I like to tie an improved clinch knot. That's my favorite one to tie because it's quick, it's easy, and I can get it done in a relatively short amount of time. So that's what I'm gonna tie for the purpose of this video, but whatever knot you tie best, tie that, okay? So we've got our braided line tied to our swivel right here. We will clip off the tag end. All right, then we're gonna get our piece of leader. Now you're gonna want a longer piece of leader for this rig. Because snapper, sometimes you'll find them on the bottom, but you really wanna get it up off the bottom. So we're gonna use about a 6-foot piece of leader here. You can go even longer, right? So I know some people fish for mutton snappers with like a 40, 50-foot leader, right? So we're gonna use 6 feet for the purposes of this video. We try it out, fish different lengths, see what you guys are comfortable with in your area. So we're gonna tie it on our leader to our swivel. Trim off our tag end. Then we're gonna throw our hook on here. So I tend to use a lighter leader for snapper, anywhere from 20, 25, usually all the way up to like 40. I don't want to go, unless I'm fishing for red snapper, then I might go 60 or 80. So we're gonna snell this hook because we're using a lighter leader, okay? So I usually go about 8 wraps to snell it. But you can certainly just as well tie it through the eye, right? All right, now that we've snelled our hook, we're gonna trim off our tag end. And this is the fish finder rig, right? So you've got a braided line going through your egg sinker. So if you can imagine it, the weight's gonna sit on the bottom like this, and then your hook is gonna drift up and up into the water column, like so. So it's going to go a little bit higher off the bottom and catch their snapper. So that is the fish finder rig. All right, let's talk about the second rig for snapper fishing. And it is going to be what you would call a chicken rig. And I'm showing you how to tie it with just a piece of leader. So it's pretty simple, right? So first we're going to go about halfway down the leader and we're going to loop it like so, right? So we loop it and we're going to grab the left side with our 3 fingers and the right side with our 2 fingers in our right hand. Then we are going to start spinning these 2 top sections of line right here. Do about 8 twists with it. Then we're going to take the bottom section, feed it through the top, and we're going to grab this part right here that you see up top with our teeth and pull it through while we hold tension on the right and the left side with our hands. So now that we've got our dropper loop tied, like so, if you see, we've got our dropper loop, we can attach a hook to it. So snapper, again, we're gonna probably use a smaller hook, so I'm just gonna use this 3/0 hook. And we're gonna feed it through the eye right here. All right, so we've got our hook attached. Now, one end is gonna tie to our swivel, and the other end of the swivel is gonna tie to our line, our braided or mono line. All right. Trim off the tag end. Then down our other line, we're gonna tie a surgeon's loop, so which means we are going to double up the line like so, and this is really, really simple. Double up the line, wrap around once, and put it back through the hole. So you've got a loop like this, and you can simply put your weight on there. So I'm gonna feed this 4-ounce weight through here, and it goes like this. So this is a really, well, we'll trim the tag end off. This is a really simple way to tie a chicken rig, like so. You've got your weight, then above that you've got your hook, and even further above that you've got your swivel. So yeah, pretty simple rig. All right, now finally, let's talk about my favorite rig for catching snapper. And that is gonna be a jig. So I know in my grouper video I said a jig was my favorite, but this is my favorite way to catch snapper, right? So you can catch pretty much any snapper that's up in the water column, and usually the bigger snapper are up in the water column. The smaller ones kind of hang towards the bottom, but off the bottom, you know, depending on your depth, that's where the bigger ones hang out. And I've got a ton of clips on my channel to prove that. So we're gonna take our swivel, tie our piece of leader to it. Again, I'm using 30-pound leader for this and a 3-foot sectional leader. So tie it on. Then you've got your 3-foot sectional leader here, and we're just gonna tie it to a jig, right? So as far as the jig size and depth, so these are jigs that I got from Tampa Bay Fishing Channel. I think they make a very good jig. I will include the link in the description below if you want to see where I get mine at. So this is a 3/4 ounce. I believe it's called a Stewie jig, and you see the hook can swing off of it and move around. So depending on depth, you want to fish a different size of jig, right? So this 3/4 ounce one, I would probably only fish this in any scenario that's 100 feet or deeper, because it's a long way to get to the bottom, right? So this one is a 1/4 ounce. I'd probably fish this in anything 50 feet, 60 feet, 70 feet or shallower. They even make one, I think 3/16, 1/8. They make some really tiny jigs. So The trick with this is to get the jig to drop slowly and slowly through the water until a fish picks it up, right? So this jig already has an eye hole on it, so we're gonna tie our leader through it. Like so. All right. Trim off the tag end. And simple as that. This egg sinker, or not this egg sinker, the swivel will tie to your mainline braided or mono. Then you've got your section of leader going to your jig, and you want to slowly drop it through the water column until you get hit by a snapper and the line starts peeling off. So yeah, those are my top 3 rigs for fishing for snapper here. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe.